The Haunted Hallows of Greywick. In the small town of Greywick, nestled deep in the heart of the New England woods, autumn was a season of both beauty and mystery. The trees donned vibrant hues of red and gold, and the crisp air carried the scent of fallen leaves and distant wood smoke. Halloween was a time of year that the townsfolk both anticipated and feared, for it brought with it the whispers of old legends and the shadow of an abandoned school that loomed at the town's edge. Greywick High had been built by the town's founding families, including the great-grandparents of the current residents. It stood as a testament to the town's history, its Gothic architecture a stark contrast to the modern world. However, Greywick High had been abandoned for decades, ever since the tragic events of Halloween night, 1953. The legend went that on that fateful night, a group of students had decided to play a prank. They had broken into the school, intending to scare one another with ghost stories and spooky antics. But something had gone terribly wrong. By morning, all 5 of them were found dead, their faces frozen in expressions of sheer terror. No one knew what had happened, but the town whispered of dark forces, of a curse that haunted the school ever since. In the present day, a group of teenagers, restless and eager for adventure, decided to revisit the legend. Among them were Emily, a history buff with a fascination for the macabre; Jake, her fearless best friend; Sarah, whose grandmother had been a teacher at Greywick High; and twins Mark and Mia, who loved to push the boundaries of fear. Halloween night arrived, and the teens gathered their flashlights and headed to the school. The air was thick with the promise of something sinister as they approached the iron gates, now rusted and overgrown with ivy. The gate creaked open, and they stepped onto the school grounds, the full moon casting eerie shadows over the crumbling building. Inside, the air was cold and damp. Dust-covered desks and chairs were scattered haphazardly, and the walls were lined with old, tattered photographs of students and teachers long gone. Emily led the way, her flashlight illuminating the path as they made their way to the auditorium where the tragic events had supposedly taken place. As they explored, strange things began to happen. Doors slammed shut on their own, whispering voices echoed through the halls, and the temperature dropped to an unnatural chill. Mark and Mia, ever the pranksters, tried to scare the others by hiding and jumping out unexpectedly, but even they began to feel the weight of the oppressive atmosphere. In the auditorium, they found an old, dusty Ouija board. Emily, ever curious, suggested they try to contact the spirits of the past. Reluctantly, the others agreed, and they sat in a circle around the board. As they placed their hands on the planchette, a cold breeze swept through the room, extinguishing their flashlights. "Is anyone here?" Emily asked, her voice trembling slightly. The planchette moved, spelling out, "Yes." "Who are you?" Jake demanded, trying to keep his voice steady. The planchette spelled out, "Help us." Suddenly, the room was filled with the sound of children laughing, a chilling, otherworldly sound that sent shivers down their spines. Shadows danced on the walls, and the temperature plummeted even further. The teens tried to move, but it felt as if an invisible force held them in place. In the dim light, they saw ghostly figures emerge from the darkness, the long-dead students of Greywick High, their faces twisted in eternal fear. The spirits reached out, their hands cold as ice, and the teens felt themselves being pulled into the past, into the night of the original tragedy. They witnessed the events unfold. The students' prank gone wrong, the summoning of a malevolent spirit that had been lying dormant within the school's walls, and the subsequent horror that claimed their lives. The malevolent spirit, now awakened by the teens' presence, sought new victims. With a final surge of strength, Emily and her friends broke free from the spirit's grip and ran for their lives. They burst out of the school. Panting and trembling, they vowed never to speak of what they had seen, but the haunted look in their eyes told a story of its own. Greywick High remained abandoned, its halls echoing with the whispers of the past. The legend of the tragic events of 1953 and the teenagers who dared to uncover the truth continued to haunt the town of Greywick, a reminder that some stories are better left untold.